The internal brickwork or blockwork has been done. Also, we're going to get rid of this light switch doorbell transformer inside the actual consumer unit, and it needs to have extraction, and that's what is going to be going in, is doing the map. And if you don't know what a map is, I'm going to show you right now. Yo, good morning, welcome to the channel. So today we are back at the garage conversion job, and it's had a little bit of progress. Let's go and have a look. So as you can see, the lads have opened all the front and toothed all the brickwork out. So they've been very, very busy, but obviously it's been so cold, they've not been able to lay a single brick outside. Whereas inside, there's a little bit of a transformation. So the internal brickwork or blockwork has been done. We've also cut through the doorway, which is there, which is nice. So this is going to be for the playroom area, should we say. Yes, I've been very, very busy and insulated all of this wall across here. And they've also put some insulation on the floor. So for the jobs for me today is I've got to get the rest of the first fix electrics all sorted. There's a few little bits and bobs that need to come off. So there's downlights in this area that needs to go in. So we need to get rid of that light switch there, because that is actually the two-way for the original garage light. So that's all got to come down. And in here, which is obviously the utility room, this is just our temporary supply at the minute so the lads can all crack on. That's got to go. So that is obviously obsolete. So that has got to go. Also, we're going to get rid of this light switch position here because there's a tower unit that's coming out, and then there's a light switch just the other side. So these have got to be fed down the other side. And you can see this cable here, that leads to the doorbell transformer. So that's all coming back off, because inside here we're going to be putting a doorbell transformer inside the actual consumer unit, which is hence the reason why it's all labelled up, ready to go. So we've got all that sorted, so they've got to be done. So that is my plan for today. I need to tidy some of these cables up because the lads have all pulled the rest of the ceiling down, as you can probably see. So that's all come down. So there's a little bit of faffing about to do first and foremost. But yeah, so it's been busy. So also, you probably can't see it, but just up there, so Steve's put some insulation through it, but there is a 4-inch ducting there because, there's a 4-inch hole there that now has to have ducting back to this point for the extractor fan, because in here, obviously it's a utility room, and it needs to have extraction, and that's what is going to be going in. So I better get set up and get this light down. So I've now isolated off the actual light fitting itself, so that's gone. So my loop feed is up here. I've stripped off the old light switch and also in there, so the two-way is now gone. So what that's left me with is we've got a brand new loop feed, because we're going to put a new lighting circuit in for the garage conversion, obviously complete all the way through. And also my switch outgoing for here. Now I've got to drop another cable in for another loop down to the other light switch in that room, because obviously we've got two separate rooms, but these ones are going to go the other side of the wall and down into the other light switch, which is just the other side, as I've already said. So one of the things I had on the other side is some cable in that I coiled up, and the reason why I coiled it up, because this wall obviously wasn't built last time you were here, if you've already followed the channel, and which leads me on to, if you've not yet subscribed, make sure you do. Link is in the corner. It's completely free, and yeah, let's get on that. So what I'm now going to do is drop these down. So this is going to be a sink underneath here. So we're going to put a power supply underneath the sink for, obviously, for some appliances, because in this corner here we have got a massive larder cupboard with a integrated fridge freezer in this corner. So hence that's what's doing there. I've just spoke to the client and we've got to change a couple of little bits, because on here where we've got our supplies going on for, there's 2 appliances down in this bit, that now wants to change and he wants to move a socket over that way for there. So we've got a little bit of jiggery pokery to do. Also, just on this side, there is a socket on here. So that is going to be redundant because that is the old ring. So I'm now going to get rid of that. This socket that's on there is just literally a temporary supply. So we don't need to worry about that, but the lads need something to work with. And that's what we've put on for now. So I'm going to get on with this, clip this down, get that bit sorted, and then we can carry on with the lights. Okay, so we've done a little bit more, as you can probably gather. So I had a chat with a client, and there's a couple of little extras, should we say, that is needed to come in. So one of them is just onto the right-hand side of that doorway there. We're going to put a single socket because he wants to put the Wi-Fi router that's actually going to be behind the door, because he's got his phone point there, as you can probably just about see. So that's fine. Also, so the light switch position's changed, so that's going to be here now, which is going to be on my next port of call. But just on this wall here, there's now going to be a TV mounted up here, and I'm just about to fit some points ready for the HDMIs. So we're going to put some knockouts in. So one's going to go right next to it, and then we're going to bring the cables across and then mount that next to the double socket that's down there for like a games console, something like that, at a later date. So that then should, fingers crossed, conclude all the actual sockets ready for this room. And then we're on to sorting out the lights. So just thought I'd give you a little update on that. So getting this HDMI stuff sorted, so that'll be sort of mounted up that way, so I've got my adjustment on there. So what I'll normally do is knock this knockout out, cut it all the way through, and then that way I can fold those, because obviously the HDMI cable ends. I'll have a look in the van, see what I've got in there, whether I've got one with me today or not. If not, I'm back tomorrow anyway to do the plumbing here. But big shout out to the customer, because they've just brought me a cup of tea and some Bicky Wickies. So thank you very much for that. So socket wise on that wall, so we're all sorted. I've got a socket there, socket down this one over that corner, and obviously 2 on that wall there, and obviously behind you is where the window is. So on here you'll be able to see I've just made a little cut through that right there, and then when I get the HDMI I can bend that out of the way, tuck it through, and then put a grommet back in there, and then I can have the HDMIs with either like a bristle plate, something like that on there that goes directly into the back of the TV, and then that will lead down, and then we'll put another one basically next to that double socket that's going to be down there. Okay, so we're finally on to actually installing the lighting circuit for this room. Now, I've obviously got the loop back into that room, so what we're going to do is going to get the cable onto the drum runner and work backwards. Now, I've already drilled a hole, because directly above my head here, there is a huge steel that spans the front of the house, and I've got a void. So what essentially we're going to have in this area, in this room, is we're going to have 4 downlights, all colour changing as well, so they're going to go in. So first things first, we're going to get the loop feed back into that room and then down to this switch. So in this section here, we're going to have to use our prescribed zones with 150mm across the top, because as you can see, this is the actual steel here, and obviously that follows down for the light switch. So we'll bring it along here, down there, and then we'll clip across, and then down to the switch. But first things first. Into the other room we go. So when I was here last time, if you remember, if you've seen the video, I just cut a big channel all the way down, but obviously they've cut the rest of the lads have chopped all the rest of the ceiling out. So it gives me the opportunity now to staple the rest of those cables. So we're going to get the cable stapler out of the van, and then that way I can tidy these cables up that has already been installed. Okay, so the downlights are all in place as such. So we've obviously gone for 4 in here, like I said. They're all going to be full colour changing so they can set them in, because it is a playroom, and obviously it's for the little one, so it'll be nice and they can have it fun and relax and when they're watching a film and all the rest of it. So the good thing is with these lights, it's almost like less is more, if that makes any sense. 4 is more than enough anyway for brightness wise, but less is more in a room like this. So the next stage that we've got to do, which I tend to forget, and it is one of those because I'm an idiot, is doing the map. And if you don't know what a map is, I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so to do a map, you're going to need a really smart board to work on, which is what I'm using right now. So clearly, this is a bit of fine art. We've got a bit of plasterboard that is here. And what we've done, if you can see on there, so all we've done is drew the room out, making sure that you've got a reference point. So I've got the window and the doorway. So we've got 700mm off and 680 out, and just marked on the number of points. And obviously on this back edge, we've got 700 out, 600 and 80mm across. That is essential, but it doesn't stop there. Now, what happens to that? You're not going to drive around in the van with that because that gets lost. So what we do is we upload that to our job management software, which is Tradeify. Tradeify has got obviously this job that we've got running right now, and we'll upload that to the job notes, and that way that anybody working on here can pick up the same jobs every single time. It's got all the notes on it. So that is today's sponsor, is Tradeify. So Tradeify, we've been using that for the last few years and it's absolutely awesome. Now with obviously the number of lads that we've got working for us, it is an absolute game changer, and we've set it all up so it actually saves us so much time. And one of the wicked new features is actually their AI smart features. So we can actually add our photos, take photos of our invoice, upload them straight onto the job, and they actually convert them all to text, which leaves Steve, who sorts all our accounts out, makes him a happy boy, because it all simplifies everything, which also means that you get time back. So if you like it like we do, use the 14-day free trial, which will be in the link in the description below. And the promo code is GHawk30. You'll get 30% off for the next 3 months. Can't say fairer than that. Okay, so cables are in now. So they are all there. So what's left to do is a bit of squaring away. Now, obviously it's a myth. All Sparkies do actually clean, right? I know it's a big thing, but we do. look, I've got all the equipment. Not that I use it. I mean, yeah, clean away all the time. So what I've just done is I've just pulled in the 3 cables down into the light switch in the hallway. So in the hallway here, this is the light switch which we're going to convert into a 2-gang. Now behind there, I've got my loop in and out and the switch outgoing line for this room. So oh, I've got the insulation down my throat, which is fantastic, by the way. So I've got to tidy these cables up because, like I said, the ceiling is down now. So I'm going to have to clip these up in place because at the minute they're just flapping about and I don't really know what Shawnee's done with those. So need to tidy all those up, but we're all pretty much there. So now I need to sort out this lot around there. Insulation down your throat is not good at all. So what is left for me to do on the electrics is there is a 10mm supply that's got to go in. It's got to go that way into the airing cupboard that's upstairs, because they've asked while we're doing all this, which is always happens, isn't it? While you've got the tools in your hand, we're now going to upgrade all the shower as well, because after getting to this afterwards is going to be a bit of a pain. So we're going to do that. We're going to put the cable in. But in theory, for this, it's all first fixed, ready to go for the garage conversion, ready for the electrics. It's all done and dusted. So, nice and straightforward one. So, if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do. Links in the corner, and turn notifications on. And don't forget to look out for the GHC Weekly, where we drop every weekend a little update on the entire GHC team. Right, on that note, see you in a bit.